Okay, we're back live for the next part of actually doing the glazing and doing some decorating. Excuse me, not enough coffee. So, what we're using today, this is a white glaze. We're going to add some glaze with that. Then we're going to use a high-tech sort of thing called an underglaze to do some decorating. And then we're going to use a set of pigments called a stain to do decorating as well. So, if we take a look, let me actually switch this camera around. If you notice, this is very watery. And if a glaze is not well mixed, it's not going to do a good job on the pot. So, all of the good stuff goes to the bottom. And the water, obviously floats to the top. There's so many parts of pottery that I'm not fond of, and they're all the messy parts. But I need to go in and make sure that it's looking good. And we can tell that a glaze is good, that it's about buttermilk consistency. And that's actually looking really nice. So let me put this back this way. Oh, gotta go wash my hand because adding glaze to a phone, I'm sure would not make it happy. There we go. So what we're going to do in using a set of tongs, hold onto a plate, dip it in, and normally we have buckets that are 55-gallon sizes, and there's plenty of room to get the whole thing in at one time. But we just dip it in two different ways. Now, the reason that we wax, if you can tell, we have glaze up here, no glaze down here. Cleanup is much, much easier. Let's do one more while we're doing the white. Up. Now, this one doesn't fit. So, do a slightly different format. We take glaze, and pour the glaze over the piece. And if you can hear the music, we got Steel Eye Span going today. We had Christmas music going earlier, and I needed something with a little more energy. This is going to take a little bit more cleanup later, but that's all right. Oh, man. That obviously is going to be my pie plate. So normally we dip, but in some cases, because of a lack of glaze or too big a piece, we have to pour. We don't want this around. So, what we're going to do next is we have a piece that has a decoration on it, and the raised area is going to be red, the lower area white. And the body of the mug is black. So first we're going to paint on the red, then fill in the white, and then wax, after it dries, wax it So it's possible to dip it in the black and have the mug come out that way. And what we're doing for the red, because red we talked about being very difficult, is this stuff that's called an underglaze. And it's a high-tech product. It's called an encapsulated underglaze. And by encapsulated, they take the colorant and put something around the outside so that until it gets really hot, it doesn't release that colorant. How it works, I don't know. It's kind of like, you know, all of that technology voodoo stuff that happens. Some people say that you should never use high quality brushes when doing decoration and working with clay. I don't agree with that, because you use a crappy brush, you just have a crappy outcome. This happens to be a Winsor Newton, and this is actually a Kolinsky brush. And to those of you that do other types of art that uses brushes, understand that these are nice brushes. Nicer than a Kolinsky, I don't know that I would go, but they hold more of the pigments that you want to work with. So what we do here, and we want to do this when we haven't had too much coffee, because we don't really want to get too shaky. As we just go through and paint around the decoration. And we probably have to do 2, maybe 3 layers of this to have it come out to be a good red. So there's nothing all that exciting about this process. Oh, Shelly, hey, how you doing? Like your new tattoo? So let's look at something that's a little bit more exciting. We are going to use something called a stain. And a stain is just a colorant, excuse me, inside of water. And it very, very concentrated. You don't want to dump that down the drain, which made me think of something else. There's a lot of disposal issues of these chemicals. Never lick the brush. So, if you notice, we have a very intricate pattern. And we want to highlight the places that are indented so that they show up better. And Baldric, this had better not give you any ideas. No, no arsenic. And so what I'm doing is just trying not to get any extra, too much extra of the black on here, because cleaning it off is just going to be a tremendous amount of work. See, we got all covered up. And then we're going to take a very wet sponge and wipe it off. And if you notice, it really makes that design pop. Now, I don't think Sally's watching. Theoretically, this is supposed to have ermines on it as well. But, oh, well, we want Baldric to have good ideas. We don't want Baldric to have ideas about making something that's too super complex. We want it to be nice. We want it to be interesting. But we don't want to make it so that I want to kill him. But then, you know, it is Kirsten who is going to do the decorating. So, you know, Baldric, you can make it as complex as you like. So, we'll do the rest of this. And using these squirt bottles is an amazingly convenient way of controlling the whoa. Actually, the ermines are there. If you can see, the ermines are actually as part of the design. That is really cool. And it'll show up really nice. And what we'll end up doing, I think, because this mug is going to be blue and this is going to be white with the black, is just actually wax over the top of this, and it'll come out white enough with the raw clay here across that face. I think it's pretty fun. I'm really happy with how that looks. Let's do another one just to walk through the process. And you may be thinking, with all of these heavy chemicals and dangerous things, how do you not pollute? And each of the sinks has a trap attached to it that allows the heavy metals to settle out before they're sent off to the city sewer system. And if a person has their own studio, they need to make sure that they actually have those traps in place on any sink to protect things, protect the environment as well. Especially if you have, let's say, a septic system. So, there's another one. So it's a decorative process that comes out pretty quick. Ooh, I want to come back and get dots of color in the eyes of each of these feathers. And I need to go make sure. See, now that looks a lot better. Those little details makes a real big difference. And I'll do that on the first one that we did as well. There we go. See, having those colored in, wow, that looks nice. Huh. So we have colorants. We have underglazes, and we have dipping / pouring. That's really pretty much all. So I'm going to go back and spend time and do these decorations and glazing so that I can get the kiln loaded yet today and fired again. And then go off and make homemade eggnog, which I think would be a really good idea. Oh, yes. Thank you, Kirsten. You can combine any and all of these processes. And this is a test tile that shows what happens when you use the stains and underglazes under the glaze. So it's all one of those things of an infinite number of tests. Yes, you do have to let things dry in between. Commentary is good. Thanks for the reminder. And actually, I really appreciate all the thoughts and comments because it's awfully difficult to remember all the details while we're working through this. I forgot. And there's another one. We also have some underglaze pencils. So doing fine detailed outlining can be done using a pencil, and there's just so many cool technology things that it's hard to keep up on everything. And going back to that idea, all of the testing and trials that have to happen is just amazing. Oh, thank you. I'm glad that I didn't say goodbye yet. Because there's one more thing that I want to show you, and that is what goes into a glaze. Because this is really like I said, it's chemistry, but they don't use necessarily chemical names. They use commercial names for products. So one of the glazes is this red iron glaze, and it uses bone ash and pearl ash, whiting, Custer feldspar, graulig kaolin, silica, and red iron oxide. And that glaze, I don't know if you can see how red that is, but that is just unbelievably red. It's a little bit too thick. I'm in the process of figuring out, how thick things should be. As compared to like this one, some of the same ingredients as over there, but like it's a different feldspar. It's potash feldspar, not Custer feldspar. And it uses different kinds of clay, but it still uses silica because that is the flux. It's what makes things flow. Yeah, it's just, there's an infinite number of things to learn. So, I appreciate your time today. I need to finish this up so that I can get on with some other things, and I need to come back and throw yet this afternoon. So enjoy your days, happy holidays, and take care. Bye.